when a person is eating more conventionally, they build up more toxins, and the toxins that they built up makes them feel worse when they're not digesting food. Because there are two phases of the digestive cycle. There's the anabolic phase when they're eating and digesting, because the word anabolic means to build. And so when this food calories are coming into the body, your liver can't be in a heightened phase of detoxification, and your body's not in a cleansing phase. It's in a receiving and building phase. When it's in a receiving and building phase, then you're not really in a detox or healing phase. The catabolic phase, when digestion is not going on, when digestion has been completed, is when the body is in a heightened state of repair and detoxification. So it's when you're not eating, you're actually healing and repairing food and repairing damage and removing toxins. So the body is getting rid of metabolic wastes and getting rid of both exogenous toxins and exogenous toxins, and dealing with xenobiotic exposure. Your body is desperately trying to repair itself and heal itself if it can. But it can only do so when it's not digesting food. The problem is that people are so toxic that when they no longer digest food, they start to feel so weak, so fatigued, even headachy or stomach cramping or fluttering, or they just feel waste or agitated. They don't feel well when the toxins start circulating for removal in the catabolic phase. They got to keep food coming in their body all the time, but they don't tolerate the way they feel when they're in the catabolic phase and not digesting food. And I'm saying the longer you live in the catabolic phase, the longer you live. Matter of fact, one of the suggestions that I'm giving people today is that we want them to eat a light dinner and finish eating dinner by 6 o'clock. So when they go to sleep at night by 10, let's say, they had 4 hours where they could finish digesting dinner. The time they go to bed, they're not digesting anymore. But if you eat too much food between 5 and 6, and you eat till you're full, you're not going to finish digesting by 10. You're going to keep digesting till 11, 12, or 1 or 2 in the morning, and you're not going to have the full catabolic benefits when you're sleeping. It's having the full catabolic benefits when you're sleeping is the secret you're learning from me for slowing the aging process and extending human lifespan and having full brain faculties when you get to be 100 years old. So most Americans don't understand or feel hunger because they eat before they get to a feeling of hunger. They have to eat because they feel too uncomfortable. So look at this slide where the glucose curve goes up when you eat a meal, and it starts to come down after the meal as you're still absorbing glucose into the bloodstream, because this glucose curve is referring to the glucose level in the bloodstream. So it spikes up after the meal, and after you finish eating, it keeps going up, and it's still higher than normal after you finished eating, because you're still taking in food in from the digestive tract. Even though you're not eating anymore, it's still coming in from the digestive tract, and it's still elevated off baseline. And then when the glucose no longer comes in anymore, and your sugar gets back to baseline, that's when you enter the catabolic phase, when you're not digesting anymore. And that's when the body enters this detox phase where enhanced healing takes place. And it's when enhanced healing takes place when people who aren't eating healthfully enough feel uncomfortable with shakiness and weakness and fatigue, and they feel they have to eat again because they think the fatigue and weakness is hunger. Fatigue is almost every person that has been what I've taken care of over the last 30 years, and the people that come to my retreat to get well, they're thinking they're always eating or think they should be eating in response to fatigue to keep their energy up. I'm saying, how could you eat in response to keep your energy up? You have 30 pounds of fat on your body. You don't need more energy. Why don't you just burn the fat that's on your body already? You're not eating. It's not giving you energy. You have plenty of energy. You've taken more than enough calories through your life to have excess energy on your body. It's that you don't feel well when you're not keeping your digestive tract busy, and you don't feel well unless you overeat. And so there's a period of time where people are going to feel uncomfortable for 4 or 5 or 6 days. And if you're not going to be able to feel uncomfortable for 4 or 5 or 6 days, you're never going to get rid of this what I call toxic hunger that drives overeating behavior. So in order to sustain a healthy diet where you're comfortable eating the right amount of calories for you, and you're instinctually connected to desire the right amount of calories, you have to eat a healthy diet, and you have to get rid of the toxins in your body. So we're saying here that when you eat healthfully, toxic hunger goes away. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I want you to eat healthfully to make toxic hunger go away, So you don't feel like eating when you enter the catabolic phase. So the fatigue goes away and the agitation goes away. And then if you continue through the catabolic phase, living off of the glycogen, the calories stored from when you ate, then you can go for hours and where you're not eating food until the glycogen is gone. And there's no more, because the body takes the glycogen and converts it back to glucose again for utilization by the cells. So when you eat glucose and you have glucose in the bloodstream, the body can burn that glucose for energy, and it converts some of it into fat, and it converts most of it into glycogen. So when you're not eating anymore, you can turn the glycogen back into glucose again, so the brain can function on glucose. Because the brain functions on glucose as its primary fuel, and 80% of our energy needs at rest are being utilized by the brain. So the brain is burning off that glucose. That's why the glucose curve is staying flat, not continuing to drop. It doesn't go down. It just stays flat at the baseline. And people say, oh, I feel hypoglycemic when my sugar is low. Well, they're feeling hypoglycemic because they're toxic. And often they can feel better by eating high protein foods like cheese and tuna fish and meat, because they want to keep their digestive tract busy all the time and keep poisoning. So by self-poisoning, they're stopping detox. But that wasn't caused by the hypoglycemic symptoms of fatigue and shakiness and discomfort. Wasn't caused by the low sugar. It was caused by the detoxification process that occurs when you have a low sugar. The good thing that's going on when you have a low sugar, because the sugar's not even that low. It's just at baseline, 60 or 70. It's just at baseline. They feel lousy. They don't tolerate, they feel at baseline. So they have to take in toxic foods to keep them back in the anabolic phase again. That's why eating meat and eating heavy foods like meat keeps people out of the catabolic phase, because it takes so long to digest. They go from one anabolic phase into another, so they're always digesting. And if they're always digesting 20 hours a day, then they're accelerating their death. We want to be able to finish digesting so we can live for longer hours in the non-digestive state. So I'm saying any person that became overweight have eaten outside of the demands of true hunger. They're not eating because they're hungry. They're eating because they're recreational eating, emotional eating, or because of toxic hunger. And if you don't recognize toxic hunger, addictive eating, emotional eating, and recreational eating, if you don't recognize them, you can't have a permanent weight. You can't result in a healthy weight. The goal is to get back in touch with true hunger and to eat instinctually. And instinctual hunger is felt up here in the lower part of our neck or upper part of our chest, and it doesn't really feel uncomfortable. I can, go for, somebody could say, hey, you want to go for a hike? You want to play tennis? You want to play pickleball? You want to go surfing the beach? You want to go? And I'll say, sure, I'll go. I could go. Okay, I'm hungry, but I'll go eat later. No big deal. And I start exercising and having fun, and I forget about the hunger and go back to later and stop, and I'll be hungry again. I'll eat then. Hunger is not painful. It's associated with increased sensation for taste. It makes food taste better, and it directs you to the exact amount of calories. Because if you continue not eating the catabolic phase, right, and the glycogen eventually gets used up, and the sugar may go down, but not really, because the body can break down muscle tissue to make glucose, to keep fueling the brain with glucose. But we don't want to break down muscle tissue for glucose, for the brain's need for glucose. Right? The body doesn't want to waste muscle tissue. So true hunger appears to make us eat again. So the body instinctually eats to protect its lean body mass. But I'm telling you this so you know that hunger doesn't exist to put fat on the body. This idea, this myth that hunger exists so we can get fat, so we can live off of lean times when there's no food available. In primitive times, people want to overeat so they can get overweight because they couldn't have food for months. They can live off their fat. That's not true. The human body there's no desire to eat food to make ourselves get fat. We're not bears, and our body doesn't work that way. We're just eating to maintain muscle mass. You have to have an abnormal diet with abnormal foods to eat an abnormal appetite that leads to a person to become overweight. So true hunger only exists not to put fat on the body, but just to maintain a muscle and bone mass. If we continue not to eat, of course, for a couple of days, then the body can accept ketones. The brain can utilize ketones as an emergency fuel for the brain. It takes a few days for the brain to be able to use ketones as an emergency fuel when no food's coming in. It's nature's way of protecting the brain and protecting your survival when food is not available. But now we've distorted that, and these people developing paleo and keto and carnivore and low carbohydrate diets, so the body goes into ketosis, is using an emergency fuel for lean times and tricking the body into think that it has an emergency, and then you're living with acid production, ketone production, and shortening people's lifespan with high animal protein exposure. And it's unquestionably, in this point in human history, many studies have corroborated each other that higher protein diets and the most dangerous type of diets with the most shortening of lifespan occurs in those diets that promote ketosis, that are carbohydrate so carbohydrate restricted, they form ketosis. It's not dangerous to be in ketosis when there's no food around for a short period of time. Not to live in ketosis, and keep living permanently in ketosis as a weight loss method. That's really dangerous and foolish. Okay, I hope you're understanding these concepts better, and that most Americans go from one anabolic phase into another. They continue to they can keep the digestive process going all the time. They're always putting food in their stomach. They don't feel well unless they chronically overeat. And there's no way you can maintain a favorable weight for the rest of your life when you're always putting food in your body and always digesting food. You're not in touch with hunger. You don't have any instinctual connection with how much calories the body needs. So you're always going to be guessing. I want you to get back in touch with your instinctual hunger, which means you eat when you feel like eating, and you don't eat when you don't feel like eating. And the only way you can get back into this coordination and connection with instinctual hunger is if you eat the right amount of food. If you eat the right type of food. And that's what we'll be talking about for the next 15, 20 minutes. The right type of food that's going to curtail toxic hunger and put you back in touch with instinctual hunger and make you desire the right amount of calories, not too many calories. So I'm just reviewing in this slide what toxic hunger feels like: headaches, weakness, stomach cramping, lightheadedness, growling, irritable, angry, moody, and these are considered hunger, symptoms of hunger, even by some medical textbooks, right? This is not hunger. These symptoms do not occur in healthy people. These symptoms only occur in people who are, and they don't occur when people's catabolic phase utilized all their glycogen. These are not hunger. These are signs of withdrawal from an unhealthy diet that are mistakenly considered hunger.